Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's show. I'm so excited to talk to you guys all about how to look professional and stay comfortable. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it. I have a very special guest named Cassandra Sethi, who is a personal stylist and a image consultant of Next Level Wardrobe, and she's here to answer all of your guys' questions that you might have about looking professional, whether it's for going into interviews or your next speaking engagement or just working from home. So let me just read her quick bio so I can introduce you to her. After working over 20 years in the fashion industry, most recently as a senior buyer for Equinox, she created her business Next Level Wardrobe, which is a luxury personal shopping service for successful professionals. And she's also been featured in New York Magazine, Reader's Digest, and Men's Health. So super excited to bring you on. Let me go ahead and add you here. And you guys have to bear with me because this is my first time using StreamYard. And apparently we are an hour ahead of schedule according to StreamYard, but on time for LinkedIn. So it's been chaotic. But anyways, if you guys are catching the replay, you guys can ask your questions, and Cassandra, you should be able to see them as well. And for those of you who are catching us live, great. I'm glad we got the 5 p.m. Pacific down, and super excited about just diving in and picking a fashion expert's brain. So Cassandra, if you could, I personally would love to hear how you got your start in fashion.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. First of all, I'm excited to be here. I started, interest in fashion when I was a little girl. I grew up in a very small town in California. There's a lot of agricultural industry there, cow fields, strawberry fields, and my way to escape that was to read fashion publications. And so I started diving into that more, coupled with my mom and dad are super creative and have a very artistic eye as well. So I learned a lot from them growing up. So I would say when those two worlds collided, I was very interested in the fashion industry and ended up pursuing it.
Oh, beautiful. That's so interesting that you used it as an escape. And I think that's the case for a lot of fashion experts. They really look at it as a way to express themselves and kind of look at it creatively. I, by the way, am not wired that way. I don't know. For me, every time I went shopping, I just like go to the sales rack and I'd find a shirt I liked, and I would pick like one in black, one in gray, and one in white. Super, super boring. But I'm glad that we're bringing you on to talk all about that. Before we dive into kind of the tips and the how-tos, I would love to have you share what the phrase or like the quote, "When you look your best, you feel your best" means to you. And
Yep.
or if you've seen any cool client transformations you can share that highlight that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a big fan of that quote. And I truly, truly believe that when you have great style and you feel confident, other people can see that, can feel that, and great things will happen as well. I'm sure you and your audience have heard all about the studies as well, that judgments that others make and that we ourselves make happen literally in milliseconds.
Mm.
And I view this as an opportunity because style, there's so many things you cannot control in life, but your style, you can control. So take charge of it. Some of my favorite client stories, there's so many to share. I know we only have an hour, but one that comes to mind that kind of aligns with that quote is a client of mine who worked at Google in the sales department. He was leading the sales department, and he was the face of Google as he went out and met with external clients. And he wanted to use his style to convey trust,
Mm.
approachability, and that he could get the job done. And so he hired me to essentially revamp his whole wardrobe and image and how he presented himself. And the confidence that he was radiating, literally radiating after I had worked with him, was incredible to see. And he got a lot of compliments too. Who doesn't like to be complimented?
I love that, and I actually didn't know it was milliseconds, but you're right. There's overall like snap judgments that are happening, or first impressions are
Yes.
really major. But yeah, I could see how somebody like that really just embodies like this is who I am, just shows up differently from the inside out, which I love.
Absolutely.
By the way, for those that are just joining us, welcome. I have an amazing guest, Cassandra Sethi, who is a personal stylist. And if you have any fashion tips, or not fashion tips, you're looking for fashion tips and you have fashion related questions, feel free to pop them into the chat and give her some reactions, the hearts, the likes, whatever, just so we know that you're here with us today. Okay, cool. So speaking of that, I have heard from my audience that when they before they moved into tech, they actually felt like they had to just dress very like executive, and it was really hard to find like specific pieces, especially like wrinkle, like their clothes would not fit them well and they would get wrinkled, versus when they moved into tech, they started to dress a little bit more casual, because it's casual versus business casual. But I'm actually hearing from you, like this executive at Google, even though they were in a very casual environment, they like dressed a certain way. So I'm curious if you have any feedback on how people should people have a specific wardrobe in different industries, or is it a one size fits all? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, good question. So, I am a personal stylist and image consultant that believes you can systematize your wardrobe. So, I am not a stylist that is about trends and buying just to buy, but building a long lasting style system. And with that system comes versatility, being able to fit into any dress code, context, event, and ultimately to create more outfits with less stuff in your closet.
Mm.
Because no matter what industry you're in, most people want that. So there are a few key items that I suggest different dress codes or professional levels have in their wardrobe. But if you are focusing on your essential pieces in the right colors, and then, of course, in the right fit, you will be able to easily and effortlessly move in and out of any event, any dress code, and feel confident at the same time.
I love that. It's kind of minimalist, but
Yes.
versatile, like having the
Yeah.
key staple pieces. And I would love to move into that and just ask, I don't know if this is a fair question, but like if there was one item in a male or female wardrobe, what would that be if you can narrow it down?
Emily, you're throwing the hardball questions around.
We're on a fashion island and there's one item that you can carry with you. What would it be?
Oh, so my question for you is: there Zoom on this island? Zoom or no Zoom?
There's Zoom because we're a Wi-Fi
Okay.
connected world. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. So if we are on a Zoom island, I would recommend for actually both men and women is to have a collared shirt. If
Mm.
you are doing a lot of Zoom calls, it is important that what you are portraying and communicating with your clothing still looks professional, but you don't want to look like you're trying too hard, because we are working from home, or in this case from an island. So I recommend having a great colored shirt, and I wore this on purpose today to show everyone an example of it. But I like to think of a collared shirt for men and women as kind of the big brother to a
Mm.
basic t-shirt, but the little brother of a formal, super formal button down long sleeve shirt, which is what guys typically wear with blazers. So think of it as kind of the middle ground that makes you look put together, but not like you're trying too hard either.
I love that. And I wanted to ask if the stripes were intentional.
Oh, so they are not intentional, but I was kind of just drawn to them. I have all the whites, I have all the core colors in my collared shirt, so I wanted a little pizzazz. So enter in the stripes.
All right, you're gonna have to help me out because I too dressed for this. I don't. You saw my Instagram story. I'm usually in t-shirts or like tank tops, and I was like, I need to get dressed because I'm talking to a fashion expert, but I actually don't have a button up that's not wrinkle free. So tell us your secrets. What is the brand? What are you wearing?
Yeah. Yes. So one brand that I recommend for, and I actually put my clients in this brand as well for men and for women, is Theory. So Theory is a New York-based brand. They have a very sleek, sophisticated look. Their pieces are very timeless and versatile. You can wear them many different ways. So highly recommend Theory. And for plus size men, I recommend a brand called Bonobos. I think they do high quality garments. They do those core colors that I talked about for professional environments. Their product is great. And for plus size women, there is a website called 11 Honore, Honore. And they have beautiful professional wear blazers, sweaters. I put clients in a lot of their items as well. So highly recommend that brand too.
Wow. Okay, I'm like jotting all of these
Yeah.
down. The only one I knew about was Theory, and I actually want to ask if you're going for like a high-end brand because their sticker prices are not the cheapest. Should you be buying something that doesn't need to be altered, like it's already like supposed to fit you, or what are your thoughts there?
Okay. So fit is probably one of the top three challenges that I hear so often.
Mhm.
Emily, do you have issues with fit when you go shopping?
I'm very petite, like I'm 5'2", so like sometimes I wear jeans and I'm like, these go past my ankles, which I know is not a good look. And so, yeah, it's really hard. And I feel like, there's a lot of fast fashion, but obviously maybe not worth it to get it altered. But then I'm
Yeah.
like, how do I just shop in the petite section? So I'd love to hear your favorite brands or like when it makes sense to alter something.
Yeah. Okay. So I will say, after working in the fashion industry for over 20 years, I myself like designed and put together clothing and assortment. So I know what goes into the design. And I'm actually going to share a little fashion secret with you and your audience. And that is that most clothing is not meant to fit you off of the rack.
Mm.
And if it does fit you, it's a bonus. Consider it a win. Yay. But I will say 99, yeah, 99% of my clients need alterations. It's
Mm.
just something that is very common, but our society has kind of morphed it into, well, this should fit me off the rack. Why doesn't it fit me? There must be something wrong with me and my body. That is not the case. So when it comes to deciding, should I spend the money to get it altered or not? Again, I use a three-step style system for my clients, which focuses on making sure you have the right pieces in the right color in the right fits. Any of those items that fall into that category are worth getting altered. Items that are not worth getting altered are more seasonal items, trendy items. So, for example, in spring, if you want to try a pastel colored dress, or maybe in fall, you want to try a maroon sweater. Those, in my opinion, are not worth getting altered because they're more seasonal. You're probably going to donate them after a season and move on to the next. But a black trouser, a navy blazer, those are timeless classic
Mm.
pieces that you're going to have for a long time. So it is absolutely worth the investment to get them tailored.
I love that. And what were the three things again? You said fit, color.
Yep, and pieces. So you want to make sure that you're focusing on identifying your essential pieces. And then you want to make sure that you're focusing on the right color. So you don't want your closet too dark, so filled with black and dark gray, but you also don't want it too light with lots of prints and patterns and colors. You want it in the middle. So that's where the
Mm.
right balance of color comes in. And then you want to focus on finding the right fit. So that's the third step.
I love that. Okay, cool. And then tell me a little bit more about. So I know you mentioned Zoom specifically for this island. So what was that reasoning for?
Yeah. So I asked if there was Zoom on the island because we are living in a virtual world now. And I remember a year ago, pre COVID, I only worked with clients in person. And that was it. And so I had to make the shift over and move my business to a virtual business, which has gone great. And virtual will be a part of my business, of my life going forward. I'm sure yours and everyone's watching as well. So it's important to not only think about your personal brand when you're interacting with someone in person, but now you have to think about your personal brand, what you're communicating, what you're saying with your style, from a digital lens. So Zoom, photographs online, copy, all these things kind of work together now.
That's great. So I would love to talk more about video interviewing attire.
Mhm.
If there is a difference between regular interviewing attire, like in person, and just any tips you have as people are stepping into their next interviews.
Yeah, good question. I get this question a lot. So I will say that for video interviews, you probably don't want to wear a suit, to be honest. Like, let's just be honest. Like, you're probably not going to want to wear a suit because suits on Zoom typically just kind of look out of place now.
Mm,
They look like you're trying too hard sometimes. And so, what you want to do is just take it down a notch, I would say.
mm,
So again, you should look at the company's website, look at what people like, what the industry is, and kind of gauge from there. But that's when you cannot go wrong with your collared shirt.
mm,
And so a collared shirt can be good for a formal interview, maybe a business casual interview, and even for a casual interview, like a casual dress code interview. If you wanted to soften this up, you can just throw a cardigan on top and it doesn't look so structured and business like. So there's ways when you have the right pieces that you can dress them up, dress them down according to who you're interviewing with.
that's called layering, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at you.
Look at me with the fashion lingo. Love it. Okay, so tell me, Cassandra, working the whole talk or title of this is how to look professional and stay comfortable. So, is athleisure in or not?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Emily. Is it important to you in the past year? What have you been wearing? Like as you worked from home, has it changed from pre-COVID times? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I've actually been working from home for the past 5 years, so
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know if I'm the best person to ask. However, I do notice that when I get ready in the mornings, I feel so much more productive throughout the day. And I do know that when I wear like yoga pants, I feel like a little bit more like casual versus if I put on like a skirt or just put on like even a pair of jeans. I don't know. It just like brings a different type of energy out from me. So personally, like because when COVID hit, everybody was working from home. It felt like Groundhog's Day in a way, and I just had to like start spicing things up. I'm like, I have nowhere to go, but in case that coworker does want to put me on a Zoom meeting all of a sudden, like I want to look presentable. So now I just make it a point to get ready every single morning.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And that's a great learning. I remember when I started my business 3 years ago, I worked in
Hmm.
corporate retail. The dress code was business casual. And so going into owning my own business, I was like, yes, no dress code. I'm going to wear workout clothes. I did do pajamas here and there, but mostly workout clothes. And then I got to a point the same as you where I was like, I just don't feel my best. And I noticed that when I would put on hard pants instead of like sweatpants or workout leggings, that just the overall outfit and the act of getting ready helped me feel more motivated, more productive, more focused. Like this is my time to work versus work and home life kind of blending into each other, which is easy to do as you work from home. So I can totally relate to what you went through as well.
Yeah, I almost feel like like your environment creates so much of like your mental energy and your emotional energy. So even like I kind of think about it the same as if I have like a cluttered desk, like even though your laptop is there and you can work, it's really distracting and like very difficult to focus. So I think the same thing goes with our ensembles and what we're putting together in
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I will say too that for me personally, even the act of doing my hair, picking out the outfit, putting on makeup, like a full face of makeup, mentally helps me prepare for the day. And again, feel motivated, productive, like I'm ready to
yeah.
face the world and not do those audio only calls either, to be visible, which is important as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know like as women, we tend to put like our makeup, our hair. What I know because you're an image consultant and you mentioned like a lot of it has to do with like your fit and all of that. Like as we look at our overall image, aside from our attire, is there anything else that we should be considering or thinking of?
Yeah, good question. I would say that, especially in the past year, that your background so important
Mm,
nowadays. I think it is actually the accessory of 2021. So remember how it used to be like the latest handbag or the latest pair of shoes, or not anymore. It is all about the Zoom background. And
mhm.
so there have been so many, like the cat story. Did you hear about that? The Zoom cat lawyer. Okay. So there was everyone who's watching, just Google Zoom cat lawyer. And there's this video of a man who was on a Zoom call and he was on a court call and he had a cat filter on and he couldn't get it off. He couldn't figure out how to get it off. And so that man will forever be known as a cat Zoom guy. And so you don't want that to happen to you, right? Like it's funny in the moment, but long term, if you want to convey the right messages and your personal brand, then it's important to make sure, that your background is supporting your message, not distracting from it. The lighting is bright so you are visible, the audio sounds good. So I would say that the number one thing to focus on besides what you wear is
Mhm.
definitely the Zoom background.
Well, you hit on such a great point because, yeah, I totally understand. Like the whole personal brand is really like not so much like what you are putting out there, it's like how other people are perceiving you and that millisecond snap judgment that you mentioned earlier. And I know, like, for a lot of people who are career oriented and they want to move up into like executive or leadership type roles, they want to like exude like a certain type of brand, right? And so I'm just curious, like for those that are wanting to really focus on their style, what would you say is like a good beginning step for them to think about? Like, do they audit their wardrobe? What is the first steps that they can take?
Yeah, yeah. So I work with a lot of executives, CEO, C-suite level professionals, and they get to the point where they need to start paying attention to all these little details because as you succeed more professionally, all those little details matter at the
Mm,
end of the day. If we think about Oprah or Michelle Obama, like everything is just so spot on and intentional. So
mm,
I would, if anyone in your community is in that situation, I would actually encourage them and invite them to zoom out of their wardrobe, of the tactics, of the brands and the fit and all this stuff, and really take the time to think about and form a bigger vision for their style and image. And I find that most people do not take the time to do this. And what happens is they get caught in the weeds being like, the fit is off, the brands, and they drive themselves crazy. They drive themselves to inaction. So by focusing and zooming out to create your bigger vision, style, and goals, you will feel excited about your style again. You will feel confident with the direction that you're going in, and you will know the why as to why you're spending your money on certain things, why you should wear this outfit versus this outfit, and what it's going to communicate. In order to help you do that, I recommend Pinterest. Put 30
mm,
minutes in your calendar every quarter and just pin for things that you're drawn to, and let your mind have fun and roam, because that is what style is at the end of the day. It's a tool in order for you to feel confident and to convey the right message. So, big fan of Pinterest to do that.
Yeah, I love that. And you can kind of start to identify your style. Like, what
Yep.
are you gravitating towards? And I think that hits on the personal brand. It's not necessarily, again, like where you've been, but also where you want to go. Cause I feel like a lot of us, we feel really comfortable with the way that we've shown up. Like, our wardrobe might have been accumulating over these past couple of years. But when we take a look at, like, okay, what is our vision? What do we want to style ourselves as? What do we want to look like? How do we want to show up? That Pinterest board could be a really great way to start creating that image that we can then start to curate. I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, style is so visual, right? Like,
Mhm.
people hire me because I can see outfits. I don't need to see them on a person. I can see them in my mind. Most people can't do that, and that's okay. But that's when you need to start developing your style skill and working on it, and really, again, forming that bigger vision and goal for yourself.
I love that. I actually just wanted to ask a question from Roshni. I
Uh-huh.
think this is when we were talking about theory, and she asks, "Can you please suggest a brand for women which is more affordable? Are there any alternatives in
Mm.
your book?"
Yeah, let me think. So, theory typically goes on sale. So, if you know exactly what you are looking for at the end of the seasons, you can shop sale. Just have a
Mhm.
plan. That's super important. In particular, brands that are a bit of a lower price point. I think Uniqlo has some great pieces. They're a good kind of go to for basics and stuff. So I would check them out. I also have a blog post on my website, 10 minimalist brands for women. So if you head over to my blog and check out that blog post, I list tons of brands. And the good thing is they all do go on sale eventually. Just have a plan for what you're looking for.
Amazing. And I know you used to be a fashion buyer, so tell us when the sales happen.
Yeah. Okay. So sales
Give us the
typically happen.
juice.
Yeah, I'm giving you the insider scoop right now. So sales typically happen at the end of a season. So we are beginning spring season like right now because the weather is turning. But you know what? All the spring items actually started to ship to stores in February, because that's the fashion
Mm.
calendar, which is crazy to think about because it's so cold outside still. So we are in a spring, summer season. Summer is starting to hit the stores. So if you want to shop sale in the next few weeks, I would say look out for Memorial Day sales. That's when they'll start. And then heavy markdown sale period will be probably in June time, because fall product is going to start shipping into stores in July, even though it's so hot outside. But that's the way the fashion calendar works right now.
Ooh, that's juicy. Okay.
Yes.
Like, mark the calendars. I love that. Another one of our viewers asked, even in IT, people are wearing business casual. I would like to know what I could wear for video meetings. We talked about like the button up collar. Any other suggestions?
Yeah, so I recommend in colder months a great sweater. I do not think that you can ever go wrong with a great fitting, beautiful sweater. I think it looks timeless, it looks sophisticated, it looks put together on Zoom, especially for interviews or presentations that you're giving. If you want to make it look slightly more formal, you could layer it over
Mhm.
a shirt like this, a collared shirt. So you would have the collar peeking out, and then you would have the sweater layered over it. So that's another way that you can get another look out of that sweater too.
Great tip. So button up down below, sweater, or what about cardigan? Just sweater.
Yep, you could do cardigan too. Yep, that's great.
Awesome. All about the layering. Good, good.
Yes.
Let me see. Just trying to take. Somebody said, "Thank you so much. Learning so much from this live." Good.
Oh, good.
Welcome, Roshni. And for those that are just joining, Apologies. I think we started an hour late or early, although in my mind it's on time. And I know this is a different URL. So those of you guys who have found us, welcome Cassandra Sethi of Next Level Wardrobe. She's a personal stylist and image consultant. So if you have any questions about looking good from an attire perspective, bring them in right now because we're going to be answering all these questions. So I also wanted to ask if having a speaking engagement, is there any different advice from like a video sorry, can't speak, from a video interview?
Mm, yes. So it depends on the context of the speaking engagement. So, for example, if it's more of a lighthearted talk or get together, then I would say keep it casual, right?
Mm.
If it's for a big presentation or something about your personal brand, you're selling services. By the way, we are all selling ourselves if we own our own company or not. Then I would say think about, again, what is your style vision and goals? What do you want to communicate with your style? And kind of use that as a guide to lead you in the right direction. But overall, the strategies are kind of the same for interview or for presentation.
I love that. So it's just to repeat that, it's really about understanding the context. Like,
Yeah,
who is your audience? Who are you speaking to? What kind of gathering is this? Because that will determine like how much you want to layer. Just kidding, but like how much you want to put out there. Versus if you can be a little bit more casual, but the staple pieces are all going to be timeless and presentable and polished and fitted.
exactly.
Love.
Yes, yes.
So one of our viewers asked, are patterns okay, or is it better to stick to solids?
Okay. So I love a good pattern. I think patterns are so fun and they're a way that you can express who you are, your personal brand, and also leave a memorable impression too, which is awesome. I think that when it comes to prints and patterns, a stripe is a good print that you can kind of start with. In fall, winter, there's typically plaid prints, really great plaid prints out there that I think are a good kind of stage one print to start with. And then you can go from there. So I'd recommend starting with a stripe and then kind of working up from there.
Great. I am just trying to think about my closet because I have so many solids. I have just like never been adventurous enough to jump out there. I want to talk about the leopard print for a sec. Is that a yay or nay?
Oh, okay.
I feel like
Ooh,
you're
this
a
is a
bold type of person to wear that.
yeah. Okay, so this is a good question because I think you need to think about your personal brand and does it
Mm,
align with that? So for me, my brand, Next Level Wardrobe, I focus on timeless, classic pieces, very minimalist, more outfits with less stuff. So for me, an animal print doesn't fit in there. Whereas for you, maybe it would fit. So you should wear it. Do you have
I don't
animal
think
print
so.
in your closet? Do you have animal print, Emily?
No, but you know what? I did start wearing more of my brand colors because, like I said in the beginning of this, I was very monochromatic, black, gray, white. And actually, my photographer was like, Emily, could you like put a splash of like color? And my personal brand is optimistic and like happy. And I was like, I should have some yellow in here, but I never thought yellow would look good on my skin because of like a skin tone. And surprisingly, it like does pop and it does show well. So I think it's about experimenting as well. And again, thinking a lot about like who do you want to be and just trying to step into that immediately. I'm
Yeah,
curious,
absolutely.
do you have any clients that have reservations of trying like an entirely new style, or they're pretty open minded because they're seeking you out?
Oh, ooh, I love talking about this. So, yes, most of my clients have never worked with a stylist before.
Mm,
They may have tried Stitch Fix, Trunk Club, their local stylist at a department store, but they never had a curated one on one expert kind of guide them along.
mm,
So, most of my clients are nervous And they should be, because this is new for them. They've never done it before. It's an investment as well. And so they are nervous about, from guys, I specifically hear, I want to look put together, but I don't want to look like I'm trying too hard. That's their number one concern. And I would say for women, their number one concern is that they can't wear most things because of their body type. So me as their expert stylist, it's my job to prove them wrong, that you can actually wear more things than you've envisioned and that you've allowed yourself to. And you can be put together and comfortable. It doesn't have to be either or. You can actually have the best of both worlds. So that's something that I work very closely with my clients on. And it's actually such a true joy for me to see themselves in these beautiful outfits that are actually more comfortable than what they used to wear before working with me. And they just look so much better, and they're conveying all the right things too.
Yeah, it's almost like a transformation, and it's very complementary to who they are. I love that you keep going back to personal brand, like as not just like who you want to be, but like what your attire matches to. Are there any questions that you like to ask clients to help them start thinking about what their personal brand is? Or I guess, are there ways to describe like certain personal brands aside from like, I don't know, the words that are coming to me are like executive versus like Mark Zuckerberg, who's like super casual with hoodie and t-shirt. Like, what are the different brands for people?
Yeah, so I do ask clients a few questions that I can share with you and your audience to help them kind of get them on the right path. So the first question that I ask is, I have them close their eyes and actually envision their new style and their new image, like what they want to work towards. And then I ask them, what if you were meeting someone for the first time and you were wearing an outfit from this new style that you have? What do you want these people that you've never met before to think about you in the first 30 seconds before you
Mm,
even open your mouth? So, what
yeah.
does that look like for you? And then the second question that I ask them is, do you have a style role model? And a style role model is someone either online or in celebrity land or in your real life that whenever you see this person, you think, wow, they look so put together. They look so sharp. Like, I really admire the intentionality behind what they're communicating with their wardrobe. And
Mm.
so those are two questions that I would invite you and your audience to kind of think about and stew on, because those again take you out of the tactics and focus on a bigger vision for your style and image.
That's so great. Just asking these questions and envisioning. I'm almost I'm actually curious now, like if there's multiple fashion role models in one's life, like for different occasions, because you talked about context earlier. So, like, should you have one that's more professional versus personal, or are you
Mm.
one that kind of embodies the entire style?
Yeah, I have multiple. I
Okay.
personally have multiple. So on a professional side, I personally look up to Oprah. I think whoever her stylist and her team is, they do an amazing job with
Mhm.
making sure she looks put together. She looks more modern and she looks approachable as well. And so Oprah is kind of professional for me. I also turn to Victoria Beckham. I
Mm.
think the way that she plays with colors and silhouettes, different styles of clothing, is really innovative and fun. And notice those women are like major celebrities. I do not share the same body type as them, but I push myself to find what I like in these style role models instead of saying, I can't wear that because I'm 5'6". I can't wear that because of X, Y, and Z, because then you start barricading yourself in more. So you can have multiple style role models. I actually think that's the best way to approach it, because there is you can find something about everyone's style that you appreciate and admire.
Ooh, so good. I never really thought about that, and just like how you're right, like all of these celebrities, they have personal stylists who help like keep their brand on point and help them with like the different seasons. But you can kind of take a look and see what you like about each piece and start to form your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I will say, for anyone who is not sure about their personal brand or what it should be, or like how do you form one, look at Oprah Winfrey. I mean, just study her for like an hour, go online and Google her images. You can see what her image was in the 1980s, 1990s, what it is today. And if you were to really challenge yourself, and if you were on a Zoom call with Oprah, you know who she is. She's a big mogul. She's very successful, but she was dressed in sweats. Maybe it had a stain on it, holes. What would you think of her in that image versus the image that she usually portrays? So
Mhm.
I invite you and your audience to kind of think about it and twist it a little bit. Like, oh, if I were on a call with Oprah, what would I envision if she was dressed a certain way? Or if her background was different than what it currently is, how would you feel? And then that way you can start to kind of exercise that style skill and form it as a stronger muscle to help you form your own personal brand as well.
Mm. It's so wonderful that you called it a skill. Like we can all develop this and practice. I'm
Yeah.
curious who the male version of Oprah Winfrey is in your mind.
Oh, good question. There's so many. Okay, so one that comes to mind who doesn't really come up that often, but I like to share, is Tyler Perry. So he is a tall man. He's not a stick thin man either. He has some meat on his bones. And so I really admire his style because he's tall, because he's not like a size 28 waist. And so he has had to learn or hire experts to help him figure out how to dress for his body type. And he
Mm.
has done a fantastic job of that, in my opinion. Also, there's a lot of successful men in tech that I think do it really well, that are not Mark Zuckerberg either. There is a man called Sundar Pichai. I believe he leads the Alphabet team at Google, and he looks really sharp. You can tell he has a stylist. He's definitely having help in that department, which is totally fine. But if you Google him, you can see his style transformation as well. He looks sleek. He looks modern. He looks put together. His clothing and image supports his message as a CEO, as the leader of this company. It's not distracting from
Mm.
what his objectives are. So I would turn to him. Also on my Instagram, I post a lot of photos of myself, of celebrities. So if you are stuck on who the male version is or female version, just swipe through my feed at Next Level Wardrobe.
Everybody should check out her Instagram, by the way, Cassandra's, because it is so fun to watch. Like, I didn't realize that there was such a science behind wardrobe building, but you do a lot of like images of people, and you like share like, oh, actually, like I'm not even gonna like, this is inaccurate, but it should be like the sleeve should be hitting here, like this is where the V should be. And it's just very insightful as you're going into your own shopping experiences. Like you can start to like see, is it hitting the right spots, or do I need to get this altered? And I also like how you just shared like the transformation, like the evolution. I've never considered Googling people from like previous years, but I think that anybody who's on the fence of like like they want to start a new style, but they're afraid of like how other people are going to perceive them, or what their like family members or friends are going to say, or like if they're going to be judged as trying too hard. I think with personal branding, it's all about just starting to like step into it and training people around you to just accept like this is who I am, and people forget like what you were like 3 months ago versus 6 months ago, and they'll long forget, like, oh, they used to dress this way like 2 or 3 years ago, unless they Google you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, everyone watching should Google Daniel Craig, who plays James Bond in those movies. Oh, holy moly. His style back in the day was not James Bond-esque, but obviously it is now. And you can see if he can do it, if any celebrity can do it, if my clients can do it, you can do it too. And the one thing I want to share too is that your style should evolve. It
Mhm.
should be different than what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and it may be different 5, 10 years from now. But your style should evolve as you do because it is a tool that you can use to help you professionally and personally as well.
Thank you for sharing that. I am like a hoarder. Like, I feel
Oh,
terrible throwing things away or throwing things out, but you're right. Like, who I was even like 3 years ago is so different from today. So I'm going to purge after this and start looking at your Instagram and Pinterest and trying to build out like who future Emily is so I can start stepping into that. I love it. You're inspiring me.
oh, I love
Um,
it.
I want to just double check. We have a couple questions. And by the way, if you guys are here live, you have questions for Cassandra, please ask. We're going to field them live right now. But somebody just asked if you have any tricks to building a minimalist wardrobe and what kind of seasonal or standout pieces to splurge on.
Okay.
I feel like
So
we're
I
having
am
a
the
webinar on
queen.
this, right?
Yeah. Okay, so every month I do live workshops. I just did one. The title was How to Build a Minimalist Wardrobe, and I am the queen of it. I love it because I did it myself. I used to be in my 20s fast fashion, quantity over quality, all this stuff. In my 30s, I'm now like I want to create more outfits with less stuff in my closet.
Mhm.
So if I can do it, any one of you can do it as well. Now, the key is to get hyper focused on those three key areas that I mentioned. So, identifying your essential pieces, making sure you have them in the right colors, and then making sure you have them in the right fit. Now, I have a very helpful blog post on my blog. If you go to Google and Google three steps to building a work capsule wardrobe, next level wardrobe, then it should come up. And in that blog post, I detail my system. I write it out for you. So if you are a do it yourselfer, you can literally go through that blog post and it will give you good guidelines based off of the essentials that you identify. Then that will guide you in terms of what you should spend more money on versus what you should spend less money on. So for myself, I love blazers. I collect blazers. I have them in so many different colors. They fit into my lifestyle. They're on brand for me. So that is a category that I spend money on and that
Mhm.
I spend more money for investment pieces. Blouses, like kind of summery blouses or maybe blouses in a brighter color or print, I spend less money on because personally, I just don't enjoy wearing them that much. I'd rather invest the money into blazers. So when you follow the 3-step framework that I list out in that blog post, it will help guide you in terms of what to spend more money on and where you can spend less money on as well.
I love that. Do you know the term cost per wear? Is that like an industry
Yes.
lingo?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So,
hmm
so can you explain it to people and like if there's a benchmark people should be considering?
Yeah. So cost per wear is when you buy, let's make up a number. So you buy a shirt for $100, a t-shirt for $100. And if it's your first time buying a t-shirt for $100, you may feel a little nervous about it. You're like, oh gosh, okay, what is this? Why am I spending this money?
That
All this
other
stuff.
one's $20.
Yeah. So what you can do is estimate how many times you're going to wear it. So let's say you are going to wear it 10 times. You divide the 10 into 100, and that equals $10 per wear if you wear it those 10 times. Obviously, if you wear it more than 10 times, that is great because then the cost per wear goes down. So it'll be less than $10. But that is a good formula to use in order to help you get more comfortable on spending money on those investment pieces. Another reframe that I like to share with clients when they are starting to spend more on investment pieces is your time and mental energy. So all of us, I'm sure at one point, myself included, shopped fast fashion. I used to shop at Zara, Forever, H&M. I mean, you name it, I was there like every week. But at the end of the day, the fit wasn't right. I didn't really love it. The quality wasn't that great. So I had to let it go. And that took a lot of mental energy because I saw it in my closet. I had to do the closet clean out. I had to find a replace. It's like this whole cycle, right? Now, if you are spending, let's say, $100 on a t-shirt, another way to reframe it is I'm going to spend $100 on this t-shirt. It's more than I've ever spent on a t-shirt, but I know it fits into the system. I know I love it. I know I'm going to get a lot of outfits out of it. And therefore, I'm not going to have to think about it anymore. I'm not going to have to go through those 50 questions when I get ready every day. Do I like this? Does it fit me? How do I put outfits together? You grab it, you put it on, and you go. And as you get more successful professionally, your time becomes more valuable. You don't want to spend it thinking about your closet. So I invite you and your eyes to kind of think about it that way. Like that's what you get out of it versus something that you lose by paying more too.
Yeah, nothing is more frustrating than opening up your closet brimmed with clothes and saying, I have nothing to wear because
Yeah.
nothing is exciting, nothing fits, nothing feels like it's appropriate. Or, yeah,
Right.
I'm all about that. I
Yep.
know we're at the top of the hour, Cassandra. So, thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge around fashion tips and advice. I know for one, I need some re examining to do. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so I am most active on Instagram. So you can find me on there at Next Level Wardrobe. And you can also find me on my website. I have a very robust blog that I put a lot of time and love into that's very valuable. So be sure to visit my blog on my website, nextlevelwardrobe.com. And I also have a complimentary guide. If you want to start creating your minimalist wardrobe but don't know where to start, my complimentary guide will share with you 3 items you need in your closet today. And I also share brands as well in that guide. So just head on over to my website, nextlevelwardrobe.com for that information.
Super helpful. Thank you again so much. This was so fun to chat with you. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah, we'll hopefully see you soon. Again, Cassandra, I'd love to have you back.
Yes, thank you for having me. I enjoyed being here.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Okay, you too. Bye.